Hi everyone, my name is Amanda. My partner Samaya and I put together this presentation to inform you about an evidence-based practice called KWLS. We hope you enjoy this presentation. Before we get started, here is an outline of the areas that we'll cover in this presentation. First, we'll give you a brief introduction of the evidence-based practice KWL. Then we'll talk a little bit about why it is important for students with disabilities, specifically for those with a learning disability. After that, we'll provide some data and research that support the effectiveness of this strategy. We have also included some examples of using KWL to enhance reading comprehension. Then we'll share with you the proper steps to effectively implement the strategy with your students. Finally, we will conclude our presentation with some additional information. So what exactly is KWLS? KWLS is an evidence-based practice that reinforces reading skills of students with disabilities. The K stands for what I know, W for what I want to learn, L for what I have learned, and S stands for what I still need to learn. And students will be able to use a graphic organizer like the one shown on the slide to make 4 sections. The first for know, second for want, third for learned, and fourth, if required, depending on the situation, for S, which stands for still need to know. KWLS charts help students visually organize their ideas and their understanding from the readings. Why is the strategy important for students with disabilities? This evidence-based practice has not only been shown to be effective for students with disabilities, but for the general education classroom as well. According to Ambuja and Garwood, research has shown that utilizing the KWL strategy for students with learning disabilities and emotional behavioral disorders help their growth mindset. KWL charts allow students to make connections with their own experiences, remember important details, generate questions about the reading, show what they understand from the text, as well as using their prior knowledge to find meanings within the reading.
Here is some research we found that supports the effectiveness of the KWL strategy. The KWL chart is a great strategy to utilize for all different types of reading, especially for nonfiction text. It's an excellent strategy as students are able to glean the information better by utilizing their charts. In one research finding by Ogle, this was apparent that, quote, the quality of their thinking improves and the involvement in and enthusiasm for reading nonfiction goes from lukewarm to really keen, unquote. The KWL strategy has also not only been proven to be effective for students with learning disabilities, but also beneficial for ELL students. According to Haller and Murphy, 2015, quote, teaching literacy to ELLs and students with disabilities included role-play, graphic organizers, visuals, group work, activating student background knowledge through so-called KWL strategies, unquote. KWL charts have also been proven as a great way to assess students. According to Conderman and Heaton, 2015, quote, to understand students' readiness, background knowledge, or skill level, teachers can use a variety of formal and informal assessments such as KWL charts, unquote. Overall, research suggests that the KWL strategy is beneficial to improving students' reading comprehension skills. What are the steps for proper KWL implementation? The first step is to identify the main concept. Then the students should be asked to make a KWLS chart as shown in the beginning of our presentation. Then, before the reading, the teacher should ask the students what do they already know, and that they should write it in the know column. After they are done with that, the teacher should then tell the students to write down what they want to find out during the reading in the want column. After that is finished, the teacher should proceed with the reading, and also something to keep in mind and make sure you ask your students to do is during the reading to refer back to their know columns and the information they wrote there to see if they can check to see if what they already know matches up with the reading. After the reading, the teacher will then tell the students to write a little in the Learn column about what they learned from the text. The teacher should also let the students know that they should refer back to their Want column to collaborate with the answers they write for the Learn section, as they will be able to check to see if their questions have been answered after reading the text. Finally, to end the implementation, have the students write a few ideas for the S column, which is what students still need to learn. To make the implementation even more engaging, have the students share with the person next to them, in groups, or even with the whole class. Take a few moments to watch the strategy being implemented as a whole class using the same concept of the KWL strategy by clicking on the play button. What are your thoughts? What worked well throughout the implementation of this strategy? What could be improved?
One of the strategies that helps us to understand what we're reading is asking questions. So as we read, we wonder about things, and we start questioning before we've even started reading a book. So today we're going to look at a book at the beginning, before we start reading it. We're going to look at that same story as we read or during our reading, and then we're going to look at the book at the end. And we're going to ask I wonder questions all the way through. You have a clipboard and 3 different sticky notes. So before we start reading, we're going to use our blue sticky note. During our story, we're going to use our green sticky note. And after we're finished reading our story, we're going to use the large yellow sticky note. While you look at the cover of the book, you're going to immediately have questions in your head that you wonder about. Use your blue sticky note to write down whatever you're wondering. Take a look at the pictures, but also take a look at the title or any words that you see. Turn to the person beside you and share your question.
I wonder why his name is Super Ponic. I wonder why he's flying.
We're going to put our blue sticky note with our before reading questions on our questioning chart. Now that we have our before reading questions up on our chart, let's hear some of them. I wonder if he is nice or evil. So as we're reading, you're going to use the green sticky note and you're going to write down your during reading question. What are you wondering about as we go along? You might find that as we go along, your question might get answered. And that's okay. Superpotamus. Up they pop. Remember that during the story, if you come up with a question or something that you're not so sure about, don't wait. As soon as it pops into your head, put it on paper. Come dusk, he's dozing on his bed. Raise your hand if you have got a question already written on your during sticky note. If you have a question on your sticky note for during, please come put it up for during. Let's find out what you're wondering during the story so far. I wonder if he's saving the monkey. This river must be saved from us. We need a superpotamus. Your yellow sticky note is the sticky note for your after question. Why did that happen? What are you wondering? And did any of your questions maybe get answered? If you've got an after question, let's put our after questions up on our last column. Let's find out if any of our during questions were answered during the story. What is he going to do? Ben?
Save them.
He was going to save them. So, yes, we did get an answer. Who's the bad guy? Do we know, Rosmira?
Don't.
We don't know who's the bad guy. So let's see what you're still wondering as the story has ended, and if it's really important to our understanding of the story to get an answer. I wonder if he will get in trouble again. Do we know the answer to that?
No.
No. Does it matter to the story, to our understanding of the text? Not really. So if we don't have an answer, it's not going to really help us understand the text better. Let's see. Why was there a flood in the river, and why was the water polluted? Do we know why the water was polluted? Who was responsible for that pollution? Ryan?
The people. That's why the superpotamus said no littering.
Okay, so we do have an answer to why the water was polluted and why there was a flood. And that helped us to understand the story because now I know what the purpose of superpotamus is. It's to help with pollution. So sometimes when we ask questions while we're reading, we still have questions at the end of a text that we don't get answers to. But sometimes it doesn't matter to how we understand the story. So if we don't know why Superpotamus's cape was red, it doesn't really matter to the story. But we do have answers to questions that help us to understand more what the purpose of the character was. And that's why asking questions after reading will help us to understand what the story was about in the first place.
The KWL strategy helps students organize their ideas and thoughts as well as use their prior knowledge to make meaningful connections within the text they are reading. KWL charts help students build comprehension skills. The KWL strategy is an effective evidence-based practice that allows teachers to assess student understanding. It allows teachers to also determine the student's strengths and weaknesses in terms of what aspects of reading comprehension they may excel at and what they still might need more support and guidance with. Additionally, this also helps teachers better assist students with disabilities in regards to their comprehension skills, as teachers can take their KWL charts and see what we can do to better support them to meet their individual learning needs. KWL charts are an efficient and excellent strategy to utilize in your classrooms for your students. Before you leave this presentation, be sure to check out this link we provided here about the KWL strategy. We hope you enjoyed our evidence-based presentation, and we thank you for taking the time to watch it and learn about the KWL strategy. Take care.